This is 5 on your side at 4, focused on you.
Right now at 4, a weather alert. Hopefully you have plans indoors for Valentine's Day as a line of showers and gusty winds moves into the bi-state. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Kay Quinn.
And I'm Brent Solomon. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking that weather for us. He joins us now with your Weather First forecast.
And, we're going to stay in that orange alert here through the evening hours and really into late tonight because gusty winds are going to stick with us even as the rain comes to an end. We've seen that rain push into the metro area right now, some of the heaviest coming down over St. Louis proper and now just across the river. Temperatures, well, it's all liquid. We don't have to worry about that. We're still in the 50s around St. Louis. Very wet conditions out in St. Charles. Still raining in Arnold right now. Although in Arnold, you missed some of the heaviest rain as it slid by just to your south. Here's a look at the broader perspective with our Weather First Doppler radar. And let's zoom in right into the metro area. Here comes that line over Forest Park and into the city. That stretches up towards Spanish Lake and towards Alton. And it's right ahead of this line where you really see the winds get to that gust of about 45 miles per hour, which is what we just saw at Lambert a few minutes ago. So it's going to be a rough go for the next hour and a half or so on the interstates around St. Louis. Line approaching Belleville stretches down towards Red Bud and then back to the west of St. Genevieve. That also with the gusty winds. Peak winds that we've seen so far, they were around 50 miles per hour earlier. The Vichy-Raleigh Airport back towards Osage Beach. Now our gusts in the metro area are ranging between 35 and 45 miles per hour. The orange alert stays up with us here as that wind advisory continues. And because those winds will gust about 40 miles per hour, a few more power outages can be expected. Right now, about 1,200 customers in Jefferson County without power. Rain will come to an end early this evening.
All right, thanks, Scott. We'll check in just a few minutes. Stay up to date with the Weather First forecast. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
It is hereby ordered that the motion of the Circuit Attorney of the 22nd Judicial Circuit filed herein for the benefit of Lamar Johnson is granted.
We want to get you now to breaking news out of St. Louis. Within just the past 2.5 hours, a judge threw out Lamar Johnson's prison sentence. Johnson was sentenced to life in prison for the 1994 murder of Marcus Boyd.
After 28 years behind bars, he is now a free man. 5 on your side's Justina Coronel was in the courtroom when the judge handed down his decision. She joins us live from the Carnahan Courthouse in downtown St. Louis with reaction to Johnson's exoneration. Justina?
Yeah, Kay, so when Judge Mason made that announcement right away, claps and cheers filled the room. And through the video, you could see, and when we were in the courtroom, that Johnson was taking in the moment. He closed his eyes and you could tell he was tearing up. Now, Johnson is a free man. In the last half hour, we saw him gathered with his team, but declined to make a comment. Now, Judge Mason's order says the court finds there is clear and convincing evidence of Johnson's actual innocence, and there was constitutional error at the original trial. Now, Judge Mason also says he had this case for nearly 60 days after the 5-day hearing in December, and he said not only did he read every single word in the original trial transcript in 1995, but he also considered the new evidence presented in court.
As you know, I spent quite a bit of time on this. And these cases are not easy, and they shouldn't be. So whatever impressions I had at the end of the hearing, those impressions really were not the impressions that I could go on. I had to go on digging into the case.
Now, while Johnson's conviction is vacated, it did take some time to get all the paperwork done today, about 2 hours before he was officially released. Reporting live, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
All right, Justina, thanks. Right now, the Michigan State University community is in mourning after a gunman opened fire on campus last night. 3 students were killed. Another 5 victims remain in the hospital in critical condition.
Police say the gunman was 43 years old, wasn't a student, and didn't have any obvious ties to the university. NBC's Chris Pallone reports from East Lansing, Michigan.
Videos posted on social media show the terror and fear gripping Michigan State University as a gunman roamed the campus.
I thought that I was going to die.
Claire Papulius was in Berkey Hall attending a night class just after 8 when the gunman walked in.
3 or 4, really, I could hear gunshots, directly behind my head. and I could see the smoke, like gunpowder or something from the weapon firing, and then I could smell, and immediately I dropped to the floor.
She says students in the back helped the wounded as others broke open a window and helped survivors escape.
I will never forget the screams of my classmates.
Claire called her mother as the attack was still unfolding.
I heard like 3 gunshots and screaming, and we jumped in our car and drove up there.
Hundreds of officers swarmed the campus. Police say the attacker killed 2 students in Berkey Hall before killing another near the student union just down the street. Then, after a short manhunt, police found the 43-year-old gunman dead. They say he shot himself.
I'm enraged. I'm angry.
Students' emotions boiling over from the constant threat of violence.
It shouldn't be that we are having to protect ourselves by barricading doors, hiding in basements. We have to be calling our loved ones and not wanting to hang up the phone because we're not sure if it's the last time we'll talk to them.
Now, as yet another American campus reels from the shock and grief of what should be the unthinkable, the search for answers is just getting underway. Chris Pallone, NBC News, East Lansing, Michigan.
The shooting at Michigan State University occurred one day before the anniversaries of 2 other tragic school shootings. Today marks 5 years since a gunman opened fire inside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida, killing 14 students and 3 staff members. The community planned events today to honor and remember the lives lost. The gunman has been sentenced to life behind bars.
And today marks 15 years since a deadly school shooting at Northern Illinois University. On February 14th, 2008, a gunman walked into a classroom and opened fire. 5 students died in that shooting and more than a dozen others were injured. The gunman took his own life.
Right now, investigators are trying to determine what caused a deadly fire in Cahokia Heights. Firefighters found the body of Gary Limestall inside the house on St. Leo Drive Sunday night. He was 69 years old. This is the 3rd fire-related death in Cahokia Heights in the last week. Last Tuesday, 2 people died in a fire at a home on North 44th Street.
A suspect is in custody right now after a shooting at a South St. Louis County gas station this morning. Police say he shot a man inside of the Quick Trip on Lee May Ferry Road just before 5 o'clock. The victim was taken to the hospital. The gunman left the gas station in a car. Officers chased him until he crashed at Ohio and Broadway in St. Louis City. They then arrested him. Police say the victim and the shooter knew each other.